In this video, I'm going to be talking about the top 10 most requested jazz songs. My name is Paul Tobey from jazzmental.com. Thank you for joining me. The top 10 most requested jazz songs is a list of songs that I put together with my wife Nancy as we sat down the other night and tried to remember from our past, and in my case, that's many years as a professional musician, what were the most requested songs by people at various types of gigs, be it a hotel lounge through to a jazz club or even a concert. And we felt that it's not only important to know this list, but as a musician, if you actually play every song on this list, there's a good chance that you can get yourself a pretty solid gig, because it's always a good idea to play music that people know and love. So hang in there, because I'm going to get to all 10. I'm going to play you a little bit of each song just to bring to mind the melodies and things. And also, I'm going to make reference throughout to a playlist that I'm creating for each of these songs. So what I'm going to be doing is teaching you how to play each song, chords, scales, melody, and even the form of the tune. And I'm going to take about 5 videos per playlist for each song. So you've got that to look forward to. So hang in there. I also have a little story to share with you, and we'll dive into that in just a second. Right, so today we're talking about the top 10 most requested jazz songs. And one of the things that I did when I was first starting out in music was to always try to up my game. So if you're a musician and you're looking to get better, I'm pretty sure you're trying to seek out professionals on how to help you with that. So I'm going to create playlists for each of these songs to kind of help you as a teacher and mentor. But you need to understand it's not that easy to find a good teacher. And I've got a lot of stories to share about different teachers over the years and mentors. But I remember one specific time, and a little backstory here. My most respected, or the musicians that I respected the most, were Oscar Peterson, Bill Evans, and Corea. Well, I can't really take lessons with them because 2 of them have passed away, and the other one, Corea, doesn't even give lessons, and he actually just passed away recently. But at the time, he actually refused to give me a lesson. So I had to go out and I had to find someone, and some people had suggested to me that I go see Kenny Barron. Now, if you don't know who Kenny Barron is, he played with Dizzy Gillespie, and he's been a really well-respected and well-recorded jazz musician over the years. And I saved up some money, and it took a while because it was $250 US for a lesson, which is about $400 Canadian, which is a fair amount of money. Plus I had to get to New York to take the lesson. So we jumped in my wife's new car, new used car, and we didn't actually have insurance on it yet. So when we got to New York, we parked it near the hotel where we were staying, and every car on the street had one of those clubs on the steering wheel. Yeah, I know we don't really do that anymore, but at the time it was all the rage. And I figured since all of these cars had clubs, maybe our car was at risk of getting stolen. So one of the things we did was I lifted the hood up and took out some fuses from the engine so they couldn't drive away with it. At least maybe they could tow it, but they couldn't drive it away. And then we went into the hotel, and the hotel room was literally no larger than my piano. I mean, it was really, really small. My wife and I basically shared a twin bed, and there was basically no room to even stand up. There wasn't even a closet. And it was expensive. I guess New York, that's kind of the way it is. Anyway, so the next day we drive not that far away to where the lesson is going to be. And it was probably in my mind going to be worth this whole trip and the expense and everything. And as I got there, I kind of thought to myself, probably going to be this really nice studio. It's going to have a grand piano. It's going to have microphones hooked up. It's going to be this great environment. Turns out that it was in his basement with no windows, and the piano was like an old upright that you'd probably find in any church basement. And, you know, it was okay, but it certainly wasn't what I was expecting. Anyway, I sit down. He asked me to play something. What am I going to play for Kenny Barron? So I played something, don't remember what it was. Anyway, I could just sort of feel that it wasn't going well. And then he says, well, let me try that. So he plays the same tune, and he's doing a bunch of stuff. And when he gets finished, I ask him, okay, you know, that section where you did this kind of diminished pattern thing, can you show me things like that? Like, can you explain that, the harmony and the, you know, can you show me the notes and maybe write it on a sheet of music? And that's when I realized that's not the way he learned to play. He learned to play completely by ear. And I'm sure he reads a little bit of music, but he was not willing to show me pretty much anything. So I'm thinking at this time, I'm spending a lot of money and I'm not really getting my money's worth. And really all he had to tell me was, hey, Paul, you just need to learn to play with your heart. I think that's really good advice. It wasn't the advice that I was looking for at the time, but in the grand scheme of my career, learning to be individualistic and play with emotion and feeling and from the heart is definitely great advice. It's just when you're looking to up your game technically, it's not the advice you really want to hear. So I went away from the lesson feeling a little bit like I got ripped off a little bit. But to me, it was valuable because I remembered that lesson for a very long time. But that's not what I'm going to help you with in this series of playlists that I'm going to put together. So I'm going to go through all 10 songs that are the most requested jazz songs. And again, this is from my experience. I'm pretty sure if you asked another musician, there might be other songs on the list. And of course, if you want to add any that you think should be on the list, please post it below in the comments and or make requests, and I can maybe make video tutorials about those as well. But as I go through the list, try to remember that each one of these, my intention is to create an entire playlist on how to play each specific song. And that means from a melodic, harmonic, and of course scales and the form of the tune, which is really important. So I'm going to go through all that in the playlist. So let's get into it. I'm going to go through the list one by one of the top 10 most requested jazz songs. Here we go. So that's my list of top 10. If you enjoyed that, please give the video a thumbs up. And of course, if you have any comments about each of the songs or you want to add to the list, please post it below and we'll be sure to respond to that and maybe make another list. Thanks for your time. This is a fairly new YouTube channel and we'd be really grateful if you could give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. So we'll be adding about 5 videos a week just like this one. The videos are mainly focused on technical skills development, recording tips, and even professional and business development for musicians like you who want some help from a professional musician like myself. So I've toured 17 different countries, made 8 albums, was signed to a really good label, and made a full-time living as a professional artist. So I know and I'm confident that I can be a great resource for you. Subscribe now, and I'll see you in another video.